Hey everybody, Sunny here. Before we get to the show, I just remind you all where you can listen to my podcast, Casa Loud Chats. I'm on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more streaming platforms. I'm even on YouTube. With YouTube, just search for Casa Loud Chats and every episode of my show is up there on YouTube. And now, on with the show. Hello everybody and welcome to Casa Loud Chats, a podcast dedicated to Nickelodeon, the Casagrandes, and the Lighthouse universe. And I'm your host, Sunny. And welcome to episode 29 of Casa Loud Chats. And wow, 29 episodes of the show. That means the next episode of the show is going to be the 30th episode of my show. Wow, I can't believe that. And what's great about that is the next episode of my show is going to be talking about the brand new episodes of the Casagrandes next week. And I'm going to be having a special guest on that show too, so it's going to be pretty exciting for my 30th episode. I didn't even know I didn't even know my 30th episode was coming up, but yeah, I'm going to try and make it pretty big with that. But yes, we have a lot of stuff to talk about today, but it is going to be a Casa-Minisode today, because we're just going to talk about the news, and we're going to talk about the brand new episodes of the Casagrandes premiering next week. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about this week, and I'm pretty sure we're recording this on Thursday night and uploading on Friday. There's probably going to be a lot of other news coming out during the next, few days before the episodes come out, so there's probably going to be something big happening where I miss it, like a preview of an episode or something, but as of right now, I'm just going to talk about the news that's been out during this week for the new episodes of the Casagrandes and plenty of other news. Mostly it's going to be just be talking about the Casagrandes this week because the Lighthouse is on hiatus, but we do have some news about the Lighthouse. It's not big stuff, but because of course the show's on hiatus, but there is some potential news about season 5 and the future of the show. But this is this show is going to be mainly just talking about the Casagrandes, and I'm super excited about that because the Casagrandes is my show, what I focus on, and we're going to have a lot to talk about, so let's get out of the way. So with that being said, let's get into some Casa news! So, for this set of Casa news this week, there's a lot of exciting news to talk about this week. I'm so excited to talk about all this stuff because, I went on a little hiatus because we didn't know when the Casagrandes were coming back, but then they finally announced there were going to be new episodes in August, which we all figured was going to happen anyway, because, Nickelodeon needs new stuff to premiere. They're also going to premiere It's Pony at the end of the month, which is great, because I love that show as well. But since the Lighthouse is, on hiatus, they needed something to fill the void. It's like, hey, that's right, the Casagrandes still has an entire season to premiere still. I mean, we're in episode 14 of the show, so we're in the middle of episodes, so we're close to season 1 ending, but not too close. But this week we do have But next week, at 1 p.m., we do have brand new episodes of the Casagrandes premiering, which is very exciting. Also with the Casagrandes, they do have the Casagrandes Smarty Pants Challenge, which they're first doing with the Casagrandes premieres, like they did with the Lighthouse a couple weeks back. And as most of us in the fandom, I don't think this is the smartest idea to do with the Smarty Pants Challenge. Yeah, because, we're trying to pay attention to new episodes, Nickelodeon. Is this their way to, try to stop us from paying attention to the actual episodes? Because with these new episodes of the Casagrandes, they're more exciting and we need to pay attention to them, so actually premiering the Smarty Pants Challenge the same day the new episodes are going to premiere is not a good idea at all. You should just do it during reruns. Just do it in reruns. Nobody really watches the reruns. I mean, I guess I can watch the reruns, but nobody really watches reruns, so just do it during then, You can do it any other time, just not with new premieres. But they are going to do it, but I'm not going to do it because I want to actually pay attention to new episodes. So yes, brand new episodes of the Casagrandes next week, and we do have 4 of them premiering, and 2 2 of them are actually new episodes I didn't get to talk about last time. The 2 other episodes premiere I've already talked about so many times. Grandparents Trap and Misstep, because originally they were going to air in the UK early, but then that didn't happen, so now they are officially airing in the US first, which is great because, you know, my thoughts on Grandparent Trap, and I've been like very worried about that episode ever since I heard about it. But after, you know, seeing that Nickelodeon did post a promo for the new Casagrandes episodes, and there's a lot of sneak peeks for certain episodes coming out this week, my anticipation and excitement for Grandparent Trap has kind of diminished, because now I kind of see what's going to happen in the episode. It's probably not going to exceed my expectations in the way I thought it was going to. It's probably not going to touch upon any of the, you know, predictions I had for the show, as most of the time I'm wrong in any capacity, but when it comes to episodes I'm excited for, I'm usually not spot on episodes I'm really looking forward to or have predictions for. You know, I should learn that from Operation Dad. But when I heard about Grandparent Trap, it really excited me at what the potential of that episode could be. But from what I've seen of it now, it doesn't really hold up as well as I thought it was going to. But, you know, I will, you know, take that with a grain of salt, go in with no expectations, and try to at least enjoy the episode. But for Misstep, oh boy. From what we see from Misstep, that episode is going to exceed my expectations higher than I thought it was going to. Because when we first got the promo for Misstep, they had revealed that Ronnie is going to be wearing a dress for that episode with Frida and Carlota. And you know that that's really up my alley. Having Ronnie in new outfits, and especially because she has her hair up in a bun, which they actually showed off in the title cards that came out today, which is even more exciting. And, you know, the crew like Miguel and certain others have said Misstep is like their favorite episode. And, you know, and Ryan told me that a bunch of people who worked on that episode actually worked on Horoscope, so it's really riding high on my expectations. You know, riding in the dress, the best people work on the episode. It's already looking like it's going to be the best episode this week. You know, I have really high expectations for it, but like with Grandparent Trap, I want to try to go in blind and not be too excited, because if I'm so excited that it's not as good as I want it to be, then my expectations will be super low and I won't like it as much as I thought I would. But, you know, I made fan art for Ronnie and her dress, and I'm so excited for it. And they had a gif of it on the Nickelodeon Giphy, is that how you say the website? So yeah, Giphy actually posted 4 spoiler gifs of the new Casagrandes episodes, and they're not too spoilery. Like, they don't give away like too much. Like, usually when that website posts like spoiler gifts, there's like a ton of them for the new episodes, but there's only like 4 of them, and they don't really give away much. Like, there's a gif with Ronnie and Carlota and Frida dancing from the promo. There's 2 from Grandparent Trap. There's one where Hector is protecting Rosa from tamales, like being, you know, hit at her, which is actually in the title card for Grandparent Trap. And I remember someone posted a screenshot from a promo with Hector putting them up his nose, which was actually in a promo for Nickelodeon Summer, which was on Instagram that I forgot to record. But yeah, that was from that. So that's gonna play a big role in that episode. And that title card with Rosa and Hector, Rosa's like just so disgusted with Hector, and even the one scene in one of the gifs where Rosa and Hector are just like fighting to get through the door, I had a prediction like that, where Ronnie is seeing Rosa and Hector bickering and fighting so much that it gives off the impression from the talk show that she was watching that her grandparents could be divorcing, and that's why they're kind of at dinner in the secret room, because they're in the secret room, and like Ronnie and her cousins probably set this whole thing up to get them to get back together or stop bickering and stuff. So that I already know from the premise itself, which is very interesting. And the other one they also posted, I think they posted one from New Roomie. I can't remember what it was. I don't have it up here. And then there was another one with Ronnie in where she was just going, what, and had like, you know, question marks on her head. That's probably from the episode Who's Shopping for Dinner. And yes, I should talk about those episodes. Yeah, I should. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the two episodes I've already talked about to get them out of the way, since I've seen, you know, glimpses of them with the promos and stuff. But the title cards for both Grandparent Trap and Misstep both look amazing. But all the title cards look really great for both all of these episodes, especially Who's Shopping for Dinner and New Roomie as well. But let's talk about those episodes, because those got announced after I did my podcast the last time. So Who's shopping for dinner? Abuela teaches Rodian that getting ingredients for dinner is no small task. So when I first saw the title for this episode, I thought it was going to be a Carlota episode because shopping. But then when I heard it was Abuela teaches Rodian that getting ingredients for dinner was no small task, honestly, I love the Casagrandes, to get me wrong, but this sounds like the most generic plot I've ever heard in my life. It sounds so simple. It's just, Rosa teaching Rodian that getting ingredients for food isn't that hard. It seems like I feel like it could have been like a short, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that entertaining for an 11-minute episode. I mean, most of the time with these 11-minute episodes, they can go by pretty quickly or just, go at a nice pace. But like my feelings on the episode where Bobby makes friends with Parr, that episode went by, Never Freddy's Story, that episode went by way too quickly in terms of pacing. And this episode, I don't know, I don't have any high expectations for it. When I saw the promo for the episode, I saw Rodian was kind of at this fish shop or like looking at like fish or clams or something. I thought they were going to make a reference to that place that that Lin Sr. and Wan went to in the episode where Wan was cooking with Lin Sr. and Parr was in the background of the episode. When I saw the place in the promo, it wasn't the same place they went to in that episode, so that's not going to happen with the crossover. But I thought it would be a funny coincidence. Maybe we see Lin Sr. Wan in the background or something, but no, that's way too high expectations to have that again. But I just think Who's Shopping for Dinner just seems like just a simple, straightforward episode. I don't think there's really going to be anything interesting about it. Just, Rodian is going to try to get ingredients to help Rosa, cook stuff, and she thinks she's responsible, she thinks she can handle it, but then she realizes that this is just too much work for her, and she gets stressed out, and Rosa's like, well, yeah, that's what I was trying to teach you, that not everything is that simple, and you can't go the easy way out of these things, and I don't know, I don't have high expectations for it, I love the Casagrandes, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there are times where we have two episodes that are so, promising, it sounds so great, but then all of a sudden we have a mediocre or bland episode in the middle, Like The Big Chill, I think is a really boring episode. Not much happens in that episode except they try to get like an air conditioner or VIP. I mean, I loved VIP at first, but now I think it's really super boring. So now with this one, it just sounds like the most generic, boring episode ever. And I don't like the idea that they're just going to give us just a lame episode like this. But, again, don't have high expectations, have low expectations. Maybe this episode will be the best one of the bunch. I don't know. You never know with having expectations like that. But, I want to at least try to enjoy the episode, not like have any, negative feelings towards it. But when I heard about it, I was just like, really? That's the episode? It's just Rodian going out to get stuff for Rosa? I mean, it sounds so simple, but I guess simple can be good. I don't want to say that simple is bad. I mean, with the Lighthouse and the Casagrandes, they're pretty simple as can be with kids shows. But let's just have good expectations for the episode. I'm sure it'll be good. Then the next one is New Roomie, which is the last episode premiering, which is when Vito's apartment floods, the kids try to find the apartment that suits him best. Casagrandes, did you just go over the Loud House and just copy their test? This is exactly like House Flip. Seriously, this is exactly like House Flip, just a little different. It's the Casagrandes trying to find him a new apartment, but this is exactly House Flip. Literally, the title card is Vito going to live with the Casagrandes in the apartment. It's literally House Flip. It's just no, bad accident or anything, but we always say that Vito is the flip of the Loud House, and this episode just proves it's the same thing. I mean, when I heard New Roomie, I was like, oh, maybe it's a new person moving to the Casa Grande building, maybe it's a new friend Ronnie, it's Vito moving in with the Casa Grandes until they find him a new place. It's literally just House Flip if the Casa Grandes were, didn't run over Vito, and it was bad enough with The Big Chill where the part where Vito did get hurt and it really reminded me of House Flip. Now you're actually really just copying off the Loud House, and again, Casagrandes, you can do better than this. I honestly believe you can, because from what I've seen in the promo, the one scene with Bobby going into the shower or going into the bathroom, it's like this is literally just House Flip, and I don't I don't want to be, negative about it, but House Flip is my least favorite episode of season 4. And I don't want this episode to be as bad as House Flip. I mean, Vito is better than Flip, I could say that. I mean, Vito can be kind of mean like, Flip, but at least I don't hate him as much as Flip. But, I'm sure it'll be good. I don't know, because it feels like a House Flip. Just the Casagrandes. I mean, again, they did Power Play, which is basically just copying the Greenhouse, but they did 10 times better, so I'm sure this episode will be 100 times better than House Flip. Even though there's somebody on Twitter who will say the House Flip's actually good, and I don't want to know that person. I'm just kidding. But it's like, yeah, I hope this is better than House Flip, because all of us are literally saying this is just House Flip, and yeah, that kind of diminishes the whole idea of this episode being good, because House Flip just came out. I mean, if you had done another, remake of a season 1 episode with the Casagrandes, then there wouldn't be anything much to compare to in terms of quality, because Greenhouse is a terrible episode from season 1, and Power Play is a great episode. So if you would have done, another season 1 Lighthouse, bad episode, I don't know, Out on the Limo or Girl Guru with a better episode than Casagrandes, we forgive you. But we just had House Flip, so it's we just had an episode like this already. Why are you doing it again just with the Casagrandes, But, I mean, with the Casagrandes living in an apartment building, it's kind of understandable why they would do an episode like this. Maybe they didn't know they were doing House Flip, but, it's just coincidence. I think not, But yeah, I'm really excited for all these new episodes. I'm really excited for the Casagrandes coming back. I've been waiting so long for them to come back so I can talk about it on my show because, I'm dedicated to the Casagrandes show overall. Yeah, I love the Lighthouse, but my whole show is dedicated to the Lighthouse universe, which is mostly with the Casagrandes. So now that we're getting them back and I could talk about them again, that's really, really exciting. So with that, I'm really excited to talk about them. And again, the episodes are premiering at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from August 10th through the 13th. And again, you can play the Smarty Pants Challenge if you want to, but I don't recommend it if you're really excited for these episodes. Yeah, I'd rather just leave it till, you watch the reruns. Totally, fine. You're not missing out on anything when you do Smarty Pants Challenge anyway. So, I don't recommend doing it, during the new episodes. Pay attention to the new episodes. It's hard to get screenshots, though, with the Smarty Pants Challenge thing, but, I'm really looking forward to new episodes. That's all that matters. Casagrandes are back, and that's what matters. And then more Casagrandes news. Oh man, I love talking about the Casagrandes. Yeah, just talking about everyday Casagrandes, and now we have more Casagrande news to talk about. So, the Daytime Emmys was a couple weeks ago, and the Casagrandes won a Daytime Emmy! That's very exciting. What's funny is they tied with Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure as the winners for Outstanding Main Title, which honestly they both absolutely deserve. I mean, when I heard that Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure was going to be tied with the Casagrandes, I was shocked. I mean, I was upset that the Lighthouse and the Casagrandes didn't win, Best Show. That went to Dragon Prince, but, honestly, you're competing against Dragon Prince, and, that show is really great, so you can't really compete with Dragon Prince. It's kind of a masterpiece of a show. But the fact that they decided to tie Rapunzel's Tangled Adventures theme song with the Casagrandes theme song makes a whole lot of sense. That's a win for both of my fandoms, and I was really happy to see all the crew really happy about the win and stuff. They've been posting about the theme song. They posted on the Instagram. They posted behind the scenes, photos and drawings of the theme song, which was really great. So I'm really, really happy that the Casagrandes snagged the win because the Lighthouse didn't win anything. So the Casagrandes winning best theme song. I mean, the theme song is top tier. It's one of my favorite cartoon theme songs of all time. I love that. I love the theme song, especially the extended version. The extended version with Ronnie An's middle part of rapping is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. So the fact it got tied with Wind in My Hair for Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure is honestly amazing because I love Wind in My Hair. Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure / Tangled the series was my third obsession or fandom before that show ended this year. So the fact that got recognized a lot during the Daytime Emmys was honestly amazing. So the fact that they tied with another favorite show of mine was really amazing. So I'm really happy for the Casagrandes crew and the Tangled crew that won and tied together. I mean, I thought that was really funny. I didn't know they could do ties. I didn't know they could do ties with this award show, but apparently they could do that. I watched the entire thing just so I could see, the reactions to this, but then they just posted the rest of the results on Twitter, and this was where they posted the response to that. So again, congratulations to the Casa Grande crew and the Tangle crew for winning and tying for Outstanding Theme Song. But those awards don't end there. No, this week we got another award show that the Casagrandes are nominated for. The Casagrandes and Isabella, the voice of Ronnie Ann, are both nominated for the Emmys Awards for Best Children's Programming and Best Young Actor. I think Isabella absolutely deserves this award because her performance as Ronnie Ann on the show is honestly one of the best things ever. I love Brianna when she was Ronnie Ann in the Loud House, but Isabella taking over, she just breathes so much life into Ronnie Ann now and gives her the personality that and really the great quirks and just the growth of Ronnie Ann's character from the Loud House to the Casagrandes, where she's more loving and caring towards her family and friends and stuff, and how much she's grown from the show. So the fact that they got such a really just active and really amazing voice actor for her is just amazing. And the fact, again, she's so active with the fan base and is always asking us questions or doing live streams and stuff. She's so active with us that I can't not support her. I think she absolutely deserves it. So I'd love if she would win that award. The city did the Casagrandes for Best Children's Programming because, again, they won for Outstanding Main Title, and that's wonderful, but the show overall really deserves the spot as well for an award. But so congratulations to the Casagrandes for another nomination for another award, and if you guys win it, that I will be really happy because you absolutely deserve it. Alright, so that is all the Casa Grande news as of this week. I don't think there's any other news with the Casagrandes that I can think of because we have new episodes and the awards and nominations and the wins. So as of right now, that's all the Casa Grande news. So let's jump over to the Loud House for a bit. We have some news with the Loud House. So the first piece of news with the Loud House is that the Loud House is now available on CBS All Access. So you have to pay to watch the Loud House on CBS All Access, but they do have only seasons 1 and 2 on there. But it is pretty cool to have the show actually streaming on a platform. I think that's pretty amazing because, it's on, we have the Nickelodeon app, but they only, have the new episodes from season 4 on there, and some of the Casa Grande, featuring the Casa Grande episodes, and you can buy the show on Amazon and iTunes, but to have it actually streaming on this streaming service, I think is pretty amazing for those who can do that. I don't have the money to pay for it, but if I had the money, I would absolutely buy CBS All Access to get the Loud House and watch it anytime I wanted to, because that's pretty amazing. But it's only seasons 1 and 2, but again, it's on a streaming service, and that's all that matters. I think that's amazing. So again, you can download the CBS All Access app and get the Loud House on there, but again, you have to pay for it. Then the next piece of news is that the 12th issue of the Loud House comic has been changed. So the first title for the Loud House 12th issue was called When I Grew Up, and now it's been changed to The Case of the Stolen Drawers. And that's the weirdest name for a Loud House comic I've ever heard since The Many Faces of Lincoln Loud, which isn't really focused on Lincoln Loud, it's focused on everybody, and we'll get to that in a minute. But let's talk about The Case of the Stolen Drawers, because there actually is a new synopsis for this comic, which was originally called When I Grew Up. So, The Case of the Stolen Drawers. It's a Loud family whodunit as Lincoln Loud is looking for his stolen lucky drawers. He suspects one of his sisters, either Lori, Letty, Luna, Lynn, Luann, Lucy, Lola, Lana, Lisa, or Lily, could be Sticky Finger culprit. Then Lola takes on a caring for animals as Lana comes down with a case of food poisoning and is too sick to watch her many, many pets. Will she roll up her gloves and take on this dirty job? Meanwhile, Lincoln's friend Zach hunts a monster at school. All this and the Casagrandes too. Is Sergio able to level up the Casagrandes household? The shocking answers to these questions, some big belly laughs, and more all-new stories in the Loud House Creative Comics team. So yes, we do know the Casagrandes are going to be featured more in the Loud House comics, which is absolutely exciting for me because, when The Many Faces of Lincoln Loud comes out, there's no Casagrandes in it. And the next one is the Winter Comic Special, which has a synopsis, which I need to read in a second. But yes, so this comic is called The Case of Stolen Drawers. I don't know why they should call it that. It should be called something else than just that, because there's other stories than just that. But again, Many Faces of Lincoln Loud is not about Lincoln Loud. It's about everybody, so I don't know what the issue is there. But yeah, so When I Grew Up is actually going to be another issue. I think it's going to be the 13th one. It's moving to another slot. So this one was When I Grew Up, and now it got changed. Again, I don't know why, but, that's just how it happens. But yes, the Many Faces Lincoln Loud, somebody on Twitter actually got a copy of it weeks before it's supposed to come out. It's supposed to come out August 10th, which is coincidentally the same day as the Casagrandes new episodes. But yes, that's supposed to come out August 10th. And that comic is actually shorter than all the originals. It's shorter by I mean there's less stories, but they're longer in comparison. But 3 of them are, reused comics. Like, again, the ones from the Subway comics, and there's one for the Halloween comic. And apparently there's a Sam comic in there, which, again, it's a Many Faces Legal Out, but there's a Sam comic. Then there's a Lenny comic in there, too. So I haven't seen much from it. I've just seen what other spoilers they posted on Twitter. So I was really excited for this one because I thought it was just focused on Lincoln, but from what I've seen and heard, it doesn't sound like that. It's just another compilation comic, and I'm just not really happy about that. Really not. But they can't really pump out a ton of really great comics, when they're trying to do as many as possible. It's like, well, some of them are gonna be duds. I still think the connected stories are just really low quality, but this one is probably going to be my least favorite next to the second comic, but we never know with these things. But yes, there was a synopsis that came out for the winter comic, which I need to find here in a second. Yes, okay, so here is the official synopsis for the Lighthouse winter special. The Lighthouse just got a bit smaller as Lincoln Loud and his 10 sisters, Lori, Letty, Luna, Lynn, Luann, Lucy, Lana, Lola, Lisa, and Lily, are all home from school on a snow day. The Louds and the other neighborhood kids brave the cold for an epic snowball fight that will knock their snow socks off. Who will brave the cold and who will be left with cold feet? The bittering sting of defeat isn't all that's at stake. This battle of age is for exclusive first use of the best sledding hill in all of Royal Woods, plus warm up as Lenny and Lily discover the untapped potential of daytime television, featuring over 10 interconnected stories from the creative team of Nickelodeon's hit show. I don't know why they don't mention the Casagrandes in that description. They mentioned the Lenny and Lily thing and them being stuck for school, but how do the Casagrandes fit into this? Because they're supposed to be interacting and meeting. Is it because it looks like there's all 10 interconnected stories? So do the Casagrandes eventually come to visit during the middle half of the story? I don't know, because we don't know much about it yet. Because it's a long way from here. It's October 6th. So we don't know what happens to that. But yeah, of course, again, the 12th issue is being changed to the Case of the Stolen Drawers. And again, the Many Faces Legal Loud comic is coming out the 10th. I will review it. I've seen some of it, maybe even most of it, from spoilers, but I will be reviewing that comic when it does come out, and I will read it and get back to you on my feedback on that comic for that review. Right, and then for some other news with the Loud House is that we did hear some news about Season 5 and the movie. So there is someone on Twitter who keeps asking the crew about the movie, which I hate that they keep pestering the crew about this, and I wish they would stop. But, we get some news out of it anyway, so here's some updated news about Season 5 and the movie. But first about Season 5. We did get to see a sneak peek of Loud House Season 5 from somebody who was mixing an episode, which is actually the second episode of Season 5. And it's Lincoln in a new winter outfit in a block of ice. So, after seeing this, we can all agree that there's not going to be a costume change for the Louds. That's pretty simple with that. There's no costume change. The characters don't look different. Lincoln looks he doesn't look different at all. He looks pretty much the same. So, there's that. But his costume for the winter is different. It is winter time. That's not his winter outfit. His winter outfit is inspired by Charlie Brown with that, Charlie Brown, brownish, hat, I don't know what you call it, and the red jacket and the scarf. Here, Lincoln's wearing a beanie, a red beanie, which looks like the one he was wearing in Predictability, and he's wearing an orange jacket, like a zip-up jacket, blue gloves, which he would have, I think he'd have red gloves or blue gloves, I can't remember what gloves he had, and snow boots, which, like, they're like the hiking boots kind of thing, not like his regular, simple, like, winter boots. So that's a change. I mean, we could see a potential, like, maybe there's some changes with the character's clothes, like, maybe Lincoln has a long sleeve shirt instead of a t-shirt underneath there, but as of right now, there's no official, like, clothes change for the Louds, which some people might be disappointed by, but from this is a big change. I mean, that's not his winter outfit. That's not the one he's been wearing for 4 seasons. So that's a big change. I mean, maybe he's trying out new clothes. Maybe that's what happens in season 5, that the characters are picking out new clothes to wear. So that's the first peak of season 5 that we've had so far with animation. I mean, we've seen, like, animatics, and we've seen storyboards of sneak peeks from other characters. But this is the first full, like, piece of, like, actual finished animation we've seen of season 5. And again, there's no change to the characters at all. Like, again, Lincoln looks the same, but we don't know yet. We don't know anything about season 5 as of right now. But, the person that had asked somebody on the crew about season 5 in the movie, they have responded to them saying season 5 will run most of next year, and the movie should be on Netflix by the summer, I hope. Which, yeah, with the pandemic, things could change. Like, they really do want the movie to be out by next year. I mean, that will be the issue with streaming and stuff, but, we don't know if there's going to be another wave of the pandemic that might cause issues. We have no idea, especially with season 5. I mean, I'm sure they have a bunch of episodes done and can be ready for, like, September, October-ish, or November-ish. I feel like it's going to be November only because if that's the second episode of the show, it's in wintertime, it has to premiere in winter. I mean, I guess it can premiere in September, October, but it would just be kind of odd, but, I guess with, timing of schedules and stuff, I guess you could premiere a winter episode in the middle of September, but, whatever. But yeah, I hope things don't get delayed, but because, again, the pandemic could cause a lot of issues, we could get stuff pushed back, but, that's just life, but again, it's nice to know that we have some clear evidence of when the movie could be come out in the summer. That'd be the perfect time for the movie to come out in the summer, absolutely, when everybody's, out of school, if people are still in school by the time the pandemic's still going on. I mean, I'm not going to be in school. I'm not going to have any delays. You know how, like, last year when I was doing the podcast, I'd have, like, really long breaks, like 2-week breaks. That was because I was going to school. I was going on campus and living there at the time. So I wouldn't have as much time to record the show as I do right now. But because I'm still scared to go outside into the real world, and my school is opening up for the fall semester and letting people stay on campus, I have decided not to and taking courses online. That means I'll be able to watch all of Lighthouse and Casagrandes when it comes out and be able to record the show on time and not have huge long breaks like the last time. Or that one episode where I wanted to do Operation Dad and I forgot my mic and I was at school and I really wanted to record the episode because I need to talk about the episode, didn't want to wait. So I promise you I will not forget my mic the next time I do a show or anything like that. Like right now. So yeah. But yeah, that's a few pieces of season 5 news. So the last piece of news for this week is updates from the Lighthouse and the Casa Grandes YouTube page. So let's see what they have updated since the last time I talked about them. So the first thing they uploaded was Bobby broke up with Lori Save the Date episode, which is a clip from Save the Date. My first episode of the show and the episode that introduced me to my favorite ship of all time, Roddykin. What else can I say that I haven't said about it before? It's the episode that impacted me in a way where I never thought that I'd be into a show that's lasted for 5 seasons and a spin-off and, gave me 2 of my favorite characters of all time and one of my favorite relationships of all time. And I know a lot of people don't like the episode and criticize it and stuff, but it's season 1, and Lincoln and Ronnie have, really developed since then, and Lori and Bobby aren't like that anymore, so just move on from it. It's still a great episode. Gave us the kiss. I hope we get a future potential kiss in season 5 or future seasons, whatever. But it started my favorite ship of all time. I just celebrated the anniversary of Save the Dates on August 4th for this week, which is really, great for me. I did a little drawing for that, so, but yeah, I wasn't really a big fanfare for that episode for the anniversary. But, it still holds a special place in my heart, and that's all that matters. Then they uploaded the Laugh Aloud podcast with Sam, which is one of my favorite podcasts, because, of course, Sam is in it, and she actually is, a character outside of Luna in this episode because she interacts with Lana. I think that's really great, so they finally uploaded the podcast. The last one they need is the Wham podcast. Then they had the Lighthouse Beach Day Interactive Guide, which is just another interactive guide for the beach, which I really love the interactive guides. Then they had Crazy Heat Wave and Broken Air Conditioning, a clip from The Big Chill. Then Changing the Baby in 5 Minutes, which was a clip from Changing the Baby. And then today, they had Back to School Random Scene Generator, which is like this thing they started with like a randomizer, where they just like pick random scenes from episodes and put them to a compilation. And the first one they picked was looking at Ronnie and for Shell Shock. So that gets automatic plus for me. But yeah, that's all they've updated so far on the Lighthouse and Casagrandes YouTube page. So before I go, I do want to highlight something I did a couple weeks ago for the Lighthouse and the Casa Grandes. I was on the Casa Loud Chill Sessions live Casa Loud session with Nate from the Lighthouse and the Casa Grandes fan page, Wyoming Parmesan, aka Not My Best Friend in the Fandom, and of course Seren was the host of the live stream, which had all 4 of us on the live stream talking about the last episodes of season 4 of the Lighthouse and talking about what we could watch for the future of the Lighthouse, or even the Casa Grandes for that matter, but mostly just for Lighthouse Season 5, because we're all looking forward to it a lot. So if you go over to the Casa Loud Chill Sessions with Seren, you can listen to that on the podcast version or the YouTube version. It's like 2 hours. We talked about the last episodes and what we thought of them, and, our favorite, at least favorite episodes of Season 4, and so on and so forth. It was a really fun time. We sadly had to go overtime because we just got too much into it that we were supposed to do a trivia game and that didn't happen, so hopefully we could do something like that again, and maybe we could do the trivia game again. But it was super fun because I love talking about the Lighthouse of the Casa Grande, so it was really nice that Seren invited me on there with Nat and Nate talking about the show, because, I have my own podcast, but I always love talking about other people. That's why I have guests on the show, and next week for my 30th episode I will be having a special guest on, so look forward to that. So, if you have any questions about the podcast or want to discuss the podcast with me, you can contact me over @SunnyClips on Twitter, or the podcast's Twitter, Casa Loud Chats. And we'll see you all next time on Casa Loud Chat.